A lifelong advocate for survivors of Indian residential schools has passed away.
Garnet Angeconeb received the Order of Canada for volunteer service to the cause and his efforts toward reconciliation. Former TBT reporter Jordan Mullaney interviewed Angeconeb in Sioux Lookout back in 2013 when that prestigious honor was first announced. Here's a look back at that story.
He now calls the town of Sioux Lookout home and has spent a number of years doing his part to make the community a better place. Garnet Angeconeb was forced from his home in Lac Seul when he was just 7 years old to attend Pelican Lake Indian Residential School, where he spent the next 6 years. He says during his stay there, he, along with many others, were abused physically, emotionally, sexually, and spiritually. Since beginning his healing journey in 1990, he has concentrated on improving the relations between Aboriginals and non-Aboriginals. He says being honored with the Order of Canada wouldn't be possible without the help of a whole community.
It certainly took me off guard, completely surprised, and really honored, deeply honored by the recognition of some of the work that I, along with many others, have done.
While he believes the history of residential schools should be put in the past, he says it should also be acknowledged and discussed to create awareness. Angeconeb led the charge to have the federal government acknowledge and apologize to the country's residential school survivors. He's also spent the last 20 years addressing the effects and healing for those survivors, and says the only way to move forward is to create a new Canada through reconciliation.
In a sense that you always want to promote understanding, good dialogue, those kinds of good things, so that we shape the future that we want for our children and our grandchildren, so that they live in a good world.
His work in Sioux Lookout includes being elected to municipal council in 1985 and spearheading the Sioux Lookout Anti-Racism Committee, which he says has done a lot of good for the community. He views Sioux Lookout as a great example of a municipality working well with neighboring First Nation communities, and most enjoys giving his people renewed hope for the future.
It's gratifying to see people smile one more time, because we are in many ways resilient, and to know that we can heal and we can reconcile and come back and be good people again, the proud people that we were before we left our communities and our families.
And again, that was a story that we first ran back in 2013. Angeconeb received his Order of Canada insignia in 2015 from then Lieutenant Governor Elizabeth Dowdeswell. He passed away on July 25th in his hometown of Sioux Lookout. Garnet Angeconeb was 68 years old.